Okay, so before I can actually explain what happens in the Taxidermist DLC, I have to explain what the Taxidermist DLC ideas were. Okay, so when Quatonic Dreams actually finished the main game of Heavy Rain, they wanted to set up 4 prologues, one for each of the individual playable characters. So one for Ethan Mars, one for Scott Shelby, one for Norman Jaden, and one for Madison Page. Now they actually started work on Madison Page first, and then after that was done, they wanted to move on to the other 3 characters. But here lies the problem. They didn't they felt they didn't need to set up any backstory for the other 3 characters because the main game basically sets up the backstory for all 3 characters except for Madison Page. So as a result, the other 3 ideas were scrapped and only the taxidermist was kept. Now, what the taxidermist is, it like I said, it sets up Madison Page's backstory because we got literally nothing. We basically saw her tits before we learned her name. Um, okay, so from what I've read, because I didn't actually watch a video, I read about what the Taxidermist DLC is. Um, Madison Page is a reporter, and she is investigating the origami killer. And now one of the um, I guess you could say suspects is a man named Leland White. Now, Leland White has been a taxidermist for several years, like close to 40 years. Um, Now, if you don't know what taxidermy is, it's like when your pet dies, you can actually bring it to a taxidermist. They will stuff it so that it's like a stuffed. It's basically like stuffing a dead animal so that you can preserve it like forever. So basically, she's under the impression that he is the origami killer. So she goes to his house, basically knocks on the door. He's not home. So then she basically breaks into his house and sneaks around looking for proof that he is the origami killer. Now, there's also multiple endings to this story, by the way. So as she's searching around in the basement, she actually finds a corpse of a woman in the bathtub in the basement. So, like, it's obvious that this guy is not the origami killer, but he is something entirely worse. And then she continues to look around, and she actually finds the body of a woman who's been stuffed. So like this guy has been taxidermying human beings. Anyway, he comes home and she's stuck in the house, and then it's a big game of hide and seek basically, where you have to either sneak out of the house. You have the choice of killing him, sneaking out of the house unseen, um, sneaking out of the house seen, or there is a chance that that Madison Page could be killed, which doesn't really make sense because keep in mind this is a prologue episode, so it takes place before the main story, but it actually has no tie-in to the story apparently, other than the fact that it's basically the same game. Different voice actor for Madison Page, by the way, so it's kind of weird, but at the same time, it's like it is what it is. And then there's one ending where you actually call the police from inside his house and you hide until they arrive and they arrest him. Now, this is basically the setup to as to why Madison Page has insomnia, because she feels that this taxidermist guy is still out there and he's looking for her. And yeah, that's basically how the taxidermist story goes. So it would be nice if they did include it. It's not 100% necessary for the game. It's just a little extra to get to understand Madison Page's character, because we didn't get a very good um introduction to it. Well, I guess depending on your point of view, you could say that we got a pretty good introduction to Madison Page, but we didn't actually get any like storyline as to why she has insomnia. But yeah, that's basically it. That's the whole story of the taxidermist.